Thank you for joining us today for the Alumni Hiring Information Session for 2021 for Snyder Hockey. Just wanted to take the time to introduce myself. My name is Jeff DiGiacomo, one of the alumni advisors at Snyder Hockey. I work closely with Erin Ficca. Also would like to take the opportunity to introduce Liz Kasinger, who's also one of our alumni advisors at Snyder Hockey. That's going to be helping me with the process today to go over alumni hiring. So talk a little bit about our agenda and timeline for our presentation today. We're going to go over who is eligible to apply, the steps to applying, going over how to submit your application, to the different types of offers of employment, and what kind of job training you're going to receive throughout your Snyder Hockey employment. So who is eligible to apply in the positions that we have available? So this position is available to any of our current alumni of Snyder Hockey that have gone through our programs, and also our current high school seniors that will be graduating this year. These are all of our students that are eligible to apply for this position as a coach at Snyder Hockey. So going over the steps to applying. The first step that we have is scheduling your pre-application meeting. This pre-application meeting can be done by emailing myself or Liz, who I mentioned earlier. We are going to provide our contact information at the end of this presentation today, where you'll be able to schedule your pre-application meeting. And in this pre-application meeting, there are a lot of things that we're going to go over. We're going to go over your resume, talk about edits and revisions that you can make. So when you submit your formal application and going through your formal interview process, you'll have a nice polished resume ready to go. In addition, your cover letter, and this will all be submitted ahead of time when you schedule your pre-application meeting with myself or Liz. In addition, you're going to need a coach recommendation. This coach recommendation is just the name and contact information of that coach at Snyder Hockey. We will send them an official email on how to fill out the recommendation form for you. But again, think about a coach that you've had for maybe more than 2 to 3 years at Snyder Hockey that you think would be a great reference for you, that talks about your leadership qualities, your strengths and weaknesses, that could really write a great recommendation for you. In addition, we're going to do a mock interview with you so you can work out the kinks to going through a formal interview process, especially at the age of 17, 18, and 19 years old. You guys may have not gone through a lot of job interviews. So this would be a great opportunity at this pre-application meeting to go through the entire process of what a mock interview may be. And for these pre-application meetings, they are going to run from April 5th through April 23rd. So your goal is to try to get this pre-application meeting scheduled as soon as possible. The earlier you get it submitted, the faster we can get through the official pre-application process. Moving forward, now you've gone through that pre-application process. Now you can submit your formal application for a coaching position at Snyder Hockey. So once you submit your application, you're going to get an emailed link from our NetCheck system. This NetCheck system is our formal HR that we use for our human resources. So this helps with our paychecks, documenting the amount of hours you work each week. This gets you into our system so we can go through the entire process and get you all set up if you are hired as a coach at Snyder Hockey. So you get your application submitted. So now we get to the next part, which is your formal interview and the types of employment that we have to offer at Snyder Hockey. Our goal is to have our interviews between May 13th and May 17th. Due to COVID going on right now and everything else within this pandemic, these dates can change, so don't hold us exactly to them, but that is our ultimate goal, is to have our formal interviews May 13th to the 17th. And the type of employments that you're going to be offered at Snyder Hockey, we have 3 options that are available. The first option is you go through the process. We think that you're going to be a great resource and coach for us at Snyder Hockey. That can go to what's called a alumni coach direct hire for paid position. Another option is a volunteer to hire position, where you volunteer for 2 to 6 weeks. And at the end, hopefully, this leads to you becoming a full paid coach with us at Snyder Hockey if you do a great job. And then we also have the no current offer that typically we don't use often, but again, could be an option there. And our goal is to have a decision for you made by June 7th. But again, with COVID going on, we just want to say that is our ultimate goal, but again, things could switch depending on everything. So you get through the formal interview process, you get offered the position, So now what are the next steps? What type of training am I going to receive? So at Snyder Hockey, we have what's called an orientation, which is 2 days in June. This orientation is mandatory. It is very critical that you attend these 2 days. It would only need to be a family emergency or some type of emergency that you wouldn't be able to attend. So again, once we go through the process, we will finalize those 2 days in June so you can put them on your calendar and plan accordingly to attend. And during this orientation, you're going to get really great information, tools, strategies on how to support our current student athletes. For example, coaching someone that might be 8 and 9 years old versus a 12 and 13-year-old. What are types of coaching strategies that I can use on the ice or off the ice with different age groups. We also have mandated reporter training that you'll also go through throughout that. And also too, is we have tons of opportunities at Snyder Hockey for different types of professional development and training throughout each year. So you did it. You're a coach at Snyder Hockey. Congratulations. So now let's talk about how your schedule is going to be, what to expect over the next year. One thing that I want to touch on is talking a little bit about our schedule. Being a 17, 18, and 19-year-old student, we understand that you guys have a lot of responsibilities. Some of you may be a student athlete. Some of you may be working full-time in addition to applying to this job. We have some students that may be going to trade school, have a lot of responsibilities at home. We do have a flexible schedule for our alumni. So if I have a student that is going far away to college, so let's say you're going to, we'll say Elizabethtown as a goals and assists scholar. We understand that you might not be able to work during the school year, but again, during your winter breaks, if you go through this employment process, you can work when you have flexibility in your schedule. So if you want to work when you're home for Thanksgiving or winter break, we'll be able to work with you, especially if you want to work at your home rink. We'll have different site coordinators that you can work with for each rink that you can ask for hours if they are available. And when you're hired as a Snyder coach, just some responsibilities that we want to highlight is making sure that you're proving yourself, have a good reputation, showing up on time. Everything that you do as a coach, everyone is watching, especially our student athletes. So you are a leader, a role model to those students. So make sure that, you're showing up on time. If you have an emergency and can't make it, is that you're contacting the coach and the site coordinator at the rink so they can plan accordingly. And also is be upfront and realistic with your availability and responsibilities. Don't take on too much. Do the best that you can. If you want to start small and then build up your hours, you can definitely do that. But our ultimate goal at Snyder Hockey is to give you guys coaching opportunities and as much leadership opportunities as you would like as a paid position here at Snyder Hockey. We are now on to our Q&A session. So as part of this presentation, I have 3 alumni from Snyder Hockey that have gone through this process. We have Jasmine, we have Issa, and Victoria. They're going to tell you a little bit about their story of coming through the process at Snyder Hockey, and also to give you some advice on what they would recommend when going through the process. So I'm now going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and move forward with having Jasmine Martinez start us off.
Hi, everyone. As Jeff said, my name is Jasmine Martinez. I'm currently a student at Newman University. This is my junior year. I've been with Snyder since 2006, but I graduated in 2018, which was when I was hired. I kind of worked with Snyder as I was in high school, kind of volunteering, so I kind of got the training down that way. But the hiring process, you just have to make sure that you're on top of emails that they send you, make sure you're communicating with people, and kind of have a flexible time span so that people are able to work with you and kind of go through your schedule so that you're able to attend the meetings. So I enjoy coaching with Snyder because it's different. It's a lot different. And I honestly, it was a transition because, us coming from high school playing hockey to now being on the bench coaching, it's a transition. It's an interesting transition though, because you get to experience the coach's perspective. So you get to see what your coaches were seeing in you guys, and now you get to see that in players that you coach. So I started out coaching at Tarkin Rec Center, and I now coach the 12U girls team with Casey. And this was my first season coaching a travel team, and it was a fun season. And especially with me being at college, I did my best to get to as many practices, as many games as I could, and just coaching the girls. It's fun. It's fun getting to speak with them, see how they see how their play is, stuff like that. And when they approach you with a question, they're younger kids, so you kind of have to adjust your mindset a bit, say it a way that the kids will understand, and make sure that they're overall having fun.
Jasmine, I have one question for you. Can you tell us about how you balance your college schedule with work in your current environment?
Yeah, of course. So I communicate with Casey, who is the assistant or the head coach. I'm the assistant coach. And I just communicate my schedule with her. If I have something that's coming up on the day of a practice, I'd just let her know a few days prior, like, hey, I might be a little late to practice or I can't make it. And with games, I let her know what games I can make. And we have 3 coaches. It's me, Casey, and Meredith. So with us having 3 people on the bench, me missing a few games here and there, they were able to hold the fort down. But, if I made sure that I had my schoolwork done so that I could go be with the girls, because I know that they need me there and I enjoy being there each week with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jasmine. We really appreciate it. We're going to move on to our next speaker now. I'm going to be highlighting Issa, and he's going to be giving his brief introduction about himself and about his employment process.
How you doing? I'm Issa. I've been with Snyder for 9 years, so 2012. 2012. I go to E-Town College, and what I would say is during the process, it wasn't that hard. Generally, we had an orientation and for 2 days actually, and basically they taught us everything we need to know about coaching mentally at first rather than on the ice. So we learned how to be a coach and what does it mean to be a coach. Also, what we could do to be the best coach that we can be, such as like looking up to other coaches. And then on ice, we basically, if you did a shadowing program or not, you basically learn from the coaches that you work with, got to know what type of drills that they did to the point where you're able to kind of do the things that they do on your own. Sadly, I haven't had too much time coaching, even though I did do some volunteering when I was in high school as well. But due to COVID and school in general, so being away from the Philadelphia area, I haven't been able to coach too much. But during like the summer camp programs, everything seemed calm. We had some activities. They told you everything that you needed to do. And then when you didn't have an assignment or something to do, you found something to do to be, helpful during your progress or your time there. Some advice I would give is to basically just be yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not. You're coming from a student to a coach. Doesn't mean that you can't enjoy yourself, but at the same time, don't try to be too harsh or too of a different character when you're playing or becoming a coach. Yeah, so be yourself and make sure you always stay having a certain goal, which is something that they taught us there, to have a goal each time you come in to work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Issa. And I also wanted to highlight Issa's schedule and being a college student. We understand that Issa is far away from school. So when he comes back from break, so typically winter break, and if it wasn't COVID at the time, he would have the opportunity to work at the rink. So for our high school seniors, I definitely want to recognize that we understand that you may be going to college farther away, or maybe you're going to be going to a trade school or working a full-time job. You will still have the opportunity to have a flexible schedule if needed, and we'll be able to work with you throughout the process. So I think that's something that I just wanted to highlight, because I think someone like Issa, who's away at Elizabethtown, we want to let him know that along with our other students that you will have a flexible schedule with that. Thank you, Issa. We appreciate it. I'm now going to move over to Victoria, and she's also going to give you a little rundown about what she does in her position as a coach at Snyder Hockey.
Hi, I'm Victoria Maloney. I've been with Snyder also for 9 years. I started in 2012. I'm originally from Simons, and I was first hired in the summer of 2020. I graduated in June of 2020, and now I go to Newman University. I'm currently a freshman there. So I'm on the life skills team. And one of the things that I learned immediately when I came on the life skills team is that no matter where you are in the Snyder hockey program, whether you're an ice hockey coach, an academic coach, or a life skills coach, we all rely on each other, and we really have to communicate with each other in order to get things done. At the end of the day, our main job is to help the kids in Snyder. And the best way to do that is to communicate with everyone. That way, kids are learning life skills both on and off the ice, whether that has to do with hockey or academics or just learning like nutrition and stuff like that. Any coach can teach kids that. I really enjoy coaching because I love ice hockey. I love it so much. I play in college. I play anytime I can get ice time. I also really just like teaching kids. I volunteered for 3 years at Simons, and I coached a couple SHL teams while I was there with my mentor, Natea, and it was a lot of fun, and I realized I loved coaching. And one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is do your research. Even if you're an ice hockey coach, you can still learn things about how to identify, let's say mental illness in a student, or or nutrition, or how to teach students different tactics of how to keep a level head during a game. Or even if you're an academic coach, you can still use plays that an ice hockey coach uses to teach students different things. Be creative, come up with you can come up with anything, and you'll be surprised about how well it will go over with the students. As for the application process, I would say get every credential that you possibly can. Besides the certifications that you're going to have to get, I definitely recommend getting a concussion certification. That way, if a student is having symptoms of a concussion, going to different seminars about how to identify different things in a student, just so that it helps build that connection with the students that you're coaching, no matter where you are in the program. And just for encouragement, I'm just a freshman. I haven't been working with Snyder for too long, but you can do anything that you set your mind to. And even when you're working, from far away, I know that as long as I communicated with my coordinator, I was still able to get time in by writing lesson plans or coming up with different programs to do with students. So you can do anything that you set your mind to. And even if you have a bad day, coaching, or even if you didn't feel like you did the best job, you just have to pick yourself up, and you just got to keep on going. And if you can't reach the student in one way, you got to sit there and you got to come up with another way to reach that student, even if it's not a way that you might be comfortable with necessarily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria. And again, I want to take the time to highlight these 3 students. They are a great representation as our Snyder Hockey Goals and Assists scholars, but in addition, employees at Snyder Hockey. So again, thank you, Jasmine, Isa, Victoria, for really taking the time out of your day to spend some time with us and give some recommendations going through the employment process. So to finish up, I want to leave my contact information along with Liz's contact info. We talked about the process today and what you're going to be going through. But again, if you have any questions, you can email myself or Liz. We will do our best to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. In addition, if you have any further questions, if you can't get a hold of us, Erin Ficca also oversees this program, and she will be able to help in any way that we can. So have a great night, guys, and thank you so much for learning more about the alumni hiring process.